non-negotiables. We have worked well with Mount Mercy University. The politics of the day notwithstanding, those politics have impacted Mount Mercy, as a private university, just as they have impacted any other nonprofit that has DEI implication. So when I asked whether or not we would be able to continue our relationship, I was fortunate. It was fortunate that the president of Mount Mercy said yeah. Now I will say, and you can cut this out if you want, that the president of Mount Mercy is totally in our camp, being the head of everything. There are others who are in different positions who are not in our camp and who have made their disconcert with our um, continued presence in the summertime known. As Sean said, when you recall that I said, "Don't talk while I'm talking." If you know me, you know that there are certain things that I stand for and certain things that I will not stand for. And trying to intimidate me in terms of what the president has uh, has signed off on is one of those things that I won't stand for. So while I do uh, find myself conflicted because I have a presence, and people tell me about my presence. Some of them are afraid of me because of my presence, but I feel as though I have a certain um, standard to uphold. So I didn't call the person out of their name when they said something to me that was offensive. I just moved right on as the class act that I am supposed to be, so that that objection kind of fell flat for the person who was objecting. So back to the point, the question that you asked, we have been fortunate to have a very positive relationship with Mount Mercy in spite of the politics. I will say this too, maybe parenthetically. The university did have a program, a DEI program. They were not allowed to continue that program. So instead of discontinuing it, as have many people who found themselves in that same situation, they just changed the name so that what you hear when you see the Office for the Common Good is DEI work, not in under the DEI name. And that's one thing that we want to teach young people. You don't buckle just because things don't go your way. You don't say, "I'm going to take my ball and go home." You figure out a way to deal either by ignoring those things that are in your way or by strategizing to um, move around them. And that's what I think we have done. We have found ourselves in a situation where we've had our funding pulled. We've found ourselves in a situation where we've had our access to students blocked. And so, my my first response, and I'm still angry. Let's not, minimize it. I'm very angry, but my first response was, okay, fine. We'll figure out a way to go around that. And so we did, in essence, make up that funding shortfall before Christmas of 19, before the end of 2025. Yeah. That doesn't mean we still don't need funding. Don't get me wrong. We still do need funding, but it was like, okay, you're taking this from us, and it's like slapping you on the back of the hand and saying, "Oh, you can't do what you said you were going to do. We don't want you in our space." And we said, okay, fine, we'll go to another space. We'll do it differently. We won't stop doing it, however, because we know that the need is there. And so the fact that others who I believe also know that the need is there and that's why they're pulling things from us can't have that as a success. We will fight against that. The idea of recruiting students without access to students in the classroom is a little bit of a different story insofar as, um, as Yushan said, he met us when we went to Jefferson and had a group of students that we talked to in the little theater. We can't do that anymore. And so the idea of having access to students one-on-one presents a different challenge. We are bound and determined, however, not only to have back the students that we um, had in the program last summer, who are expected to return, by the way, but also to augment that number with rising freshmen, ideally, because then they can have 3 full years of the academy. There's always more to know. You can't learn all of it in 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then other students as well, sophomores and juniors, and even seniors on occasion. So that's our challenge at the moment. We're going into churches. We're accessing individuals. We're looking at people who are not Black and saying, do you know any Black kids who might want to come into the academy? And we're making content so that we can be on social media, which has always been a weak spot for us. And we're so happy to have that strengthened now. It's very true. People who don't read look at social media. So it's an extremely important addition to our strategy to get kids. So we are going to church tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to be talking about, the need for young people to join the academy. And I'm very close to saying, if you don't send your kids to this program, you're just handing the powers that are what they want. They want to erase us. You're keeping your kids home. Well, you're just helping them erase us.
Mm-hmm.
So you really need to think about it from a more political perspective and ask yourself what your children can gain from going to the academy as opposed to what they will gain by going to football camp, for example,
Mm-hmm.
or what they won't gain if they stay home or if they work at Hy-Vee. The balance is, it seems to me, is clear. That the fact that it's out of balance if parents who have the opportunity to take advantage of this program don't do it. So I have to pull myself back because I will go on a rant, and I don't think that would serve our purposes.